Yes, sir. What's going on, Zach? I see you in here. First one in here, as always. Let's see who else we got. We got Big Will. Actually, Hector. Hector was the first one. What's going on, Hector? Appreciate you being here, bruh. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, guys. So today's topic is gonna be on rookies. I got 12 rookies that I believe that could be league winners, and you should be putting these guys on your lineup at their ADP. Now, I'm not telling you to go get these guys over big time league winners like Amara, Tyreek, B. John. We all know what those guys is, most of us. And I'm gonna do videos on those obvious guys, but it's getting honey time. And when I say it's honey time, you need to know the sleepers. Everybody know who to pick the first 36 picks. That's easy. You can go to any platform and we all kind of gonna be seeing the same players, maybe different variances. But I'm telling you, when you go across these rookies, to get them at their ADP. Now, I'm going to give you some of the guys that are going to be late ADP guys that you should be stashing and waiting on them for the fourth quadrant. And I'm going to give you some guys who can take off immediately. And I'm going to break them down in my analysis. So, guys, thank y'all for coming in here. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This is cutting edge content. And the reason why I say this is cutting edge content, I don't have some secret sauce where you're going to put 2 plus 2 in and get a championship. But what I'm going to tell you to do is to pick certain players, and all the other stuff is not going to matter. And I'm going to tell you how to draft these players to give yourself the best chance of winning the championship. And most channels have good content, but they tell you a lot of stuff to me that doesn't really even matter. That's just my perspective, and there's no disrespect to anybody out here that has a channel. What's going on, Harambe? What's up, bruh? Yes, sir. And Zach, man, you killing it. A lot of the guys that you are mentioning in the chat, man, I already have those. I have those guys. Yes, sir. D Lion in the building. That boy love Jaden Daniels. I'm gonna start calling you Jaden Daniels, bruh. Yes, sir. Okay, with no further ado, let's begin. Let's begin. Okay. So, guys, this is no particular order. I'm just going to do the breakdown, but I got 12 guys, and if you watch the whole live, I got a few honorable mention guys that I'm going to put on this list. So the first guy that I want to talk about is going to be Keon Coleman. Yes, Keon Coleman. Now listen, when I first started breaking down wide receivers in the offseason for rookie guys, Keon Coleman I knew about him, but he wasn't top 5. At this point in time, I have to try to move him up above some guys, above guys like Troy Franklin, because he's on Buffalo, and Buffalo has 160 targets vacated from Stephon Diggs. And if Keon Coleman is doing what I see he's doing in camp, I have to move him up in the top 5. I wasn't on him. You know, I always tell you, I was on this guy. Nobody else was on him. That's not one of these guys. But this is one of these guys that I got to talk about in the video because he's balling out in camp. The guy reminds me of D-Hop and Keenan Allen together. That's his game. He's a great route runner like Keenan Allen, but he has a catch radius of D-Hop. And again, who's going to be that #1 wide receiver for this team? We know Dalton Kincaid is going to get hyper-targeted as a tight end, but who's going to be getting 90% of those 160 targets that was vacated? I don't think it's going to be split up 20% between Khalil Shakir, Curtis Samuel, and Keon Coleman. I believe 70% of that, at least 70% of that, is going to go to the #1 wide receiver. Is that going to be Khalil Shakir? Is it going to be Keon Coleman? Is it going to be Curtis Samuel? I believe it's going to be Keon Coleman. So I'm willing to bet at his ADP, guys, and the ADP is depending on your league format. The leagues that I'm in, he's going in like round 5, round 6. Was round 7. Now it's like round 5, round 6. So you can get Keon Coleman. I think it's a good opportunity for him. It's a good opportunity to draft him and let him be your wide receiver 3 on your team. Do I want him to be my wide receiver 2? Just depend on your league, for your build, your format. Do you got strong running backs? But I believe this guy has plenty of opportunity to be a top 12 wide receiver this year. So make sure you pick him up, guys. All right, let's move on to another rookie. And another rookie that I want to talk about, and this is another wide receiver, is Brian Thomas Jr. And I mentioned him in my last video. I believe that Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be the boom guy for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars. Now listen, if you're looking for somebody who's going to give you touchdown upside that can win you a week boom play, making big plays, that's what this is what their offense needs. That's why they let go of Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley was a great route runner, but he couldn't take the top off the defense. Brian Thomas can do that. So at his ADP being drafted in about the 5th round, 6th round, that in the leagues that I've been in, I think you you could draft this guy and have a great upside guy who can give you 30 points, 40 points in any given week. And that can win you the week. If you got a guy that can go for 30 points, 40 points, you usually going to win that week unless everybody plays shitty on your team. So yes, I love Brian Thomas. He's one of my favorite guys this year. Not saying he's going to be the best wide receiver in the league, but I think he's going to be one of the best downfield threats. And I believe that's how you win fantasy football championships. And also in NFL games, that's what type of wide receivers they are looking for. That's why they let Calvin Ridley go. Why would you let Calvin Ridley go if you need a wide receiver? You already got a good wide receiver, but you need big plays. And that's what Brian Thomas is going to be. I see you, RG. Yes, sir. He says Josh Allen is also balling in camp. Yes, and Josh, we know what Josh Allen is. We just need who's going to ball out with him. We know Josh Allen has been the #1 quarterback 2 out of the last 3 years. So Josh Allen is most of the time is going to be a top 5 quarterback. You can just play him in, and you don't have to worry about him. Is it going to be rushing touchdowns from week to week or passing touchdowns? We don't know, but either way, he's going to be a winning guy. We need to know who he's going to trust, and I like Keon Coleman. Eddie Phillips says YouTube. Yes, sir, bruh. Yes, sir. He said, RG said they didn't let Ridley go, spent all their money on Gabe Davis. No, they didn't spend that much money on Gabe Davis. They let Ridley go, man. They didn't want to pay him what he was worth on the market because they could go get a rookie who could beat somebody downfield. That's what I believe. But Gabe Davis is just another guy, man. Sometimes you got to pick up a guy who's going to only get 30 catches, but out of those 30 catches, he's going to make big plays, right? He's going to make a big play a game or two. All right, let's move on to my third rookie. And this guy's going to be Trey Benson. Now, this is a type of handcuff, maybe a squeeze opportunity. And so the difference between a handcuff and a squeeze is he's not coming in the game. He's not going to get any type of valuable touches unless the starting running back goes down. A squeeze is going to be a guy who's going to be coming in the game all game, and he's going to be part of the process of calling plays, and he's going to get 12 to 15 touches depending on week to week. I believe Trey can come in and start getting touches with James Conner, which makes him a squeeze guy. And also, I think he can, if James Conner goes down, Trey Benson could be a league winner. Now, does he start off as a squeeze guy and maybe start off more as a handcuff guy? I believe that. I think they're going to trust James Conner, but as the season gets farther, they want to save James Conner. They don't want him getting hurt. I think Trey Benson is going to come in and be a squeeze opportunity. So drafting him and getting him in round 10 or later is a great opportunity to put him on your bench and stash him in a redraft league. In Dynasty, everybody wants him in Dynasty because they know James Conner's not going to be there forever. But in redraft, this is a great strategy of putting backup running backs or squeeze opportunities on your bench. To me, guys, if I got 7 bench spots, 5 of them are going to be running backs. Thank you, Eddie Phillips. Appreciate you, bro. He says, 1 quarterback, half PPR, Dynasty question. Trade away the 107 in this year's rookie draft and a late 2025 first for Cooper Kupp and Tank Dell. Thanks, my guy. So should you trade away this year 107 because you still haven't done your rookie draft and a 2025 late first for Cooper Kupp and Tank Dell? No. The reason why at this year's 107, you can get Keon Coleman, you can get Brian Thomas, you can get Xavier Worthy. I think those guys are okay at the 107. And for 2025, brother, I don't know what your team looks like, but a guy that I'm targeting, and this could be disingenuous to your team. You might not even need a quarterback, but I like Shadir Sanders. I like Travis Hunter. I'm not saying Travis Hunter is going to be a wide receiver, but I want to try to target these guys. There's going to be some good guys coming up from next year. I don't think Cooper Kupp and Tank Dell is going to make a difference on your team for what I can see. If you had Amon-Ra St. Brown on there somewhere, and you was probably even giving up more, I might say, okay, yeah. But I don't think buying Cooper Kupp in a dynasty league right now, unless you got top end running backs, unless you got Breach, B. John, and CMC, like you ready to win a championship with older running backs, and you just need a wide receiver that you can trust, then I might say yeah. But I'm not telling you to go get these old wide receivers, and they could get injured again, and their value could be nothing. If Cooper Kupp goes down again, he's not even going to be worth not even a second round pick maybe if he goes down with a significant injury. So I would say no, I wouldn't do that, bro. I would hold off and just play the draft. Sometimes, man, you can build a very great dynasty team just by taking your draft picks and selecting guys. Trust yourself. You here at Fantasy GoodeSports, man, I'm a great drafter. A lot of people, man, they don't give me my flowers about everything, right? But they do give me my flowers about me drafting really good teams, and I don't need to trade. So I trust my process of just drafting players at the 1-7. I think you can get somebody great at the 1-7. A great rookie that can help you win in the fourth quadrant over Cooper Kupp. Hopefully that helps you out, bro. Appreciate the super chat. Okay, he says I have the 1-7, the 1-11, and the 1-12, the 205. Yeah, bro, draft that. Draft that, bro. Draft that. You can kill the draft. You can get Brian Thomas, maybe Brock Bowers, whoever you need, man. I don't know what you need, but you can kill that draft. And there's some good players in this draft. Now, if this was a shitty draft, now it's not good running backs in this draft, not in the first round. I'm not taking Jonathan Brooks to depend on him to be a great guy, right? I'm not saying he won't be good, but I don't think this is a good running back draft. But wide receivers, bro, out of those picks, you're going to get a elite wide receiver, a top 12 potential guy. Okay, he says I'm already stacked at running back and quarterback. Yeah, go ahead and draft these wide receivers. Go ahead and draft these wide receivers or target somebody better than Cooper Kupp. Okay. Tank Dell, I like Tank Dell. If you could stash Tank Dell and not rely on him until other things change on that team, I would say that's fine. But right now, man, Tank Dell, he's not just another guy, but he's not going to be a top 12 wide receiver every week with all those weapons on that team. But I love Tank Dell. I think Tank Dell is very talented. I think he can be a top 12 wide receiver. Maybe not this year. Okay, so let's move on. So talking about Trey Benson. I think Trey Benson is a great guy to take and stash him on your team and wait for the fourth, third quadrant or for an injury. That's the name of the game. That's why I tell you on your bench in redraft, you need to have 90% running backs on your team. Forget these coordinators. If you got like a Anthony Richardson, yeah, you might have a backup for him. But don't be having no backup tight ends on your bench. Don't be having a lot of backup wide receivers that you waiting to do something. Unless it's like a high-end rookie like a Malik Neighbors or Brian Thomas or somebody like that you know can come in. But other than that, bro, you need to be having running backs, even if they old. Because running backs, the same 32 running backs that's starting now, it's not going to be that for the whole season. So you want to have that boom guy like a Trey Benson stashed on your bench in case something happens to James Conner. And James Conner hasn't never finished the season. So Trey Benson is going to have a week where even if James Conner don't only get hurt for 1 or 2 weeks, Trey Benson is going to have a week where he can win that week for you. So that's why you want to have Trey Benson stashed and picked up or drafted at his ADP. Anytime, Eddie Phillips. Anytime. Make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. This is cutting edge content. Okay, going on to my number 4 guy. This is a teammate of Trey Benson. This is Marvin Harrison Jr. And we all know we all are drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. It's just depending on what ADP. Some people are taking him in the late first round. Some people are taking him early in the second round. And some people ain't getting to him because if you don't take him in the beginning of the second round, you're not going to have him. People are predicting him to have a Jamar Chase type breakout season as a rookie wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, that type of rookie wide receiver year. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. Me, I'm not going to get to him because it's a lot of, especially in redraft. In Dynasty, I'm definitely drafting him. But in redraft, it's too many good players that I think can win immediately for me, and I'm really willing to draft them over him. But if you want to get Marvin Harrison, you go ahead and do it. I'm not going to tell you when to do it or not to do it. If you want a guy, my channel teaches you to go get the guys that you want because it's your team. As Captain Planet would tell you, the power is yours. I'm just trying to give you some stats and some facts with these guys so you can make a better decision. I'm not here to tell you who to be on and not. Now, I do have my guys that I'm accountable for, that I'm willing to tell my subscribers, these are my group of players that I love, and these are the guys that I'm drafting. And let's draft these guys. If you don't want to, that's fine. And we can chop it up and we can continue to grow each week. Because some of the guys that I'm picking up, they're not all gonna hit, right? So we balance it off each other. But like I said, Marvin Harrison, you gotta if you want him, you gotta pick him up in the second round. So this is a starter. Like, you got to start him week 1 at his ADP. Ain't no waiting on him. If you wait on him, I think you lost. Now, if he get going late, maybe it still was a good pick, but you better hope you got a good team. You better hope you got a good team. If he start off slow for the first 3 or 4 weeks, it could cost you to go to the playoffs. You could miss the playoffs by 1 game because now he got started late, but you needed to win. You was short 1 game. So be careful about taking rookies and waiting on them. All right, let's move on. Let me see what we got here. Harami says Marvin Harrison Jr. is so polarizing, bro. Right, he is. That's why I ain't got nothing to say. I'm just not taking him. Just because I'm not taking him, do not mean a player is not a great player. I teach that over here. I don't draft everybody just off of what the consensus people are saying this guy's capable of. You have to. Sometimes you just got to trust your gut. Right? So when I didn't want to draft Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow last year, I didn't know. God didn't tell me that Joe Burrow was going to get hurt. God didn't tell me that Jamar Chase something was going to happen to him and he might miss a game or 2. Nobody told me that. But you know what? I was like, I looked at him like, I just don't want to take that. It's too Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. It's just too much about them for that team. That's why. And then Joe Burrow got hurt. I didn't predict that. So Marvin Harrison, I don't know what's going to happen. He can go out and be the #1 wide receiver. I'm not going to sit there and say I was on him. I'm like, guys, wow, I'm shocked. But if he starts off slow, that's kind of why I'm not drafting him, right? I'm not going to sit there and say I predicted that, but it's kind of how I look at certain players. Everything you said was facts. Better draft well if you take Marvin Harrison Jr. Facts. I believe that too. My next guy is going to be a tight end. It's going to be Brock Bowers. Now, look, Brock Bowers, to me, guys, is a tight end that you can wait late. Now, listen, you got some trigger-happy people in fantasy football draft that love rookies. They always trying to draft. They rather draft Jamar Chase than to win the league. I know nobody here is going to admit that. Nobody going to say, that's not me. Everybody say, no, I want to win. Well, why you are always now Dynasty? I understand, but especially in Dynasty, these guys have these killer, tremendously rookie teams, but you can't win with all rookies. And so a lot of guys go after these rookies way more than earlier than their ADP is saying to take them. And you look at their team, it sounds fun for 2024, but 2025, when you got to play that league fee, and you got a bunch of rookies who's in development, you want to quit the league. So that's Dynasty. But redraft, there's a lot of people that do that. Oh, I got this guy and I got this guy. Bruh, they're not going to be better than 30-year-old players, 29-year-old players. Keenan Allen was a great player last year. He was 32, 33 until he got hurt. So there are most of the top 12 guys are going to be over 25, 26 years old. But it's going to be a few guys that's going to be rookies and second-year breakouts. So out of the top 12, I would say 40% of them are going to be young players, and the other ones are going to be players that's been in the NFL for years. Maybe guys that we didn't know they had that potential. So me, Brock Bowers, I'm waiting late to get him after like 10 tight ends is off the board. And I think that's a great strategy because, guys, I don't think the tight end position really matters if you don't go and get an elite guy. Once the elite guys are gone, and you follow my channel, watch my tight end videos, I got like my 6 or 7 elite tight ends. Once those guys are gone, then I think you just need to take whatever's left over. And if you could get a guy like Brock Bowers, that's going to be a great 4th quadrant player that they're going to use all over the field, kind of like a hybrid. I love this guy at Georgia. This is one of my favorite tight ends. This is the way the game is evolving. Then, yeah, I think you got a great strategy. But if you try to draft him over guys like David Njoku and Kyle Pitts just because you think he's going to be super special, it could cost you a championship because you leaving guys on the table that like DK Metcalf. And I'm just talking, I'm not saying this is, don't say, oh, DK is going in round 3 and you talking about, I don't know, I'm just naming somebody. But it's you're gonna have good players where you're gonna be trying to get Brock Bowers early because you think he's gonna break out, and you're gonna be leaving guys who could be top 12 on the board. So don't go and get Brock Bowers too early. But I think the way you pick up Brock Bowers in a redraft league is to wait late and draft your team and pick him up probably in the round 10, round 11. Especially in money leagues. Okay. Let me see here. Zach says, yo, what's going on, Hector? Zach says Jaden Daniels, Marvin Harrison, Brian Thomas Jr., Keon Coleman, Lad McConkey, Trey Benson, Pope, Vidal, Neighbors, Bowers, Sanat. About 70% of those guys are probably going to be on this list. Yes, sir. Zach says, would you take Xavier Worthy at his ADP this year? Yes, sir, I would. I would take Xavier Worthy at his ADP. D-Line says Jaden Daniels. Lonely B says someone is going to be the wide receiver one in Buffalo. Keon Coleman could be that guy. I think near the red zone. He's already the wide receiver one. I agree with that. I think you have to go and trust that. Let's see here. Zach Seaman says Brian Thomas Jr. or Keon Coleman if you had to choose. That's a great one, bruh. I hate to say it, man. I love Brian Thomas, but I'm never going to lie to y'all. I'm never going to sit here and cap. What I would do, I probably would wait. I would probably get Brian Thomas, but I'm not going to tell y'all. I think y'all should get Keon Coleman. I think his opportunity with 160 targets vacated, I think that's a better chance. And Keon Coleman is a high volume guy. He's a 10 to 12 target guy. Brian Thomas could be that. I don't believe he's that. I think he's more of a 6 target guy, 7 target guy with a couple big plays a game, which can still have a great fantasy output. But Keon Coleman is the volume guy that make y'all feel safe. And I don't mean that, no, I'm not being facetious. I mean that as this is a guy who could command 120 targets plus. So I would say Keon Coleman, as far as giving you the straight facts with money on the line. I like Brian Thomas personally. Harambe says, get the likes up. Yes, sir. Appreciate that, Harambe. Thomas is the perfect replacement for Ridley. Yes, if you're trying to push the ball downfield for Trevor Lawrence. What's going on, Kenny? I see you, bro. Okay. So let's move on, guys. The next guy is a quarterback. And this guy's going to be Caleb Williams. Now, let me tell you the strategy to get this guy. And that's why I call this that's why I call the title Pay Attention about these 12 rookies. These are not just 12 rookies and you draft them and they're all going to be special. Some of these guys are not going to be that special this year. Some of these guys might even be flops. But I want to tell you how you build your team to acquire these guys and make it make sense. So with Caleb Williams, to make it make sense, you go ahead and draft all your studs. At least the first 5 to 6, 7, 8 rounds. If he ain't there then, it doesn't matter. He's not for you. Don't be trying, I got to get him, so I'm going to get him in the 4th round and make sure I get him. If you do that, he better be special. He better be like a top 5 quarterback, like a C.J. Stroud, like a Justin Herbert. Because if he's not, your team is going to be garbage. Because you're going to go and you're going to miss a league winner just to go get a quarterback. But the way it makes sense to build a great team with Caleb Williams, and it won't matter what happens because they're not going to bench him, is to go get a Bijan, then go get a Devon A-Chain, and then you get your DK Metcalf or your Amon-Ra. And all I'm saying is you go get a studded out, beautiful team. Your team, you got this tight end, Travis Kelce, you got Bijan, you got another elite wide receiver like Tyreek Hill. You got a killer team. And you ain't picked no quarterback. And everybody's like, well, you ain't got no quarterback. And then you get Caleb Williams. That's how it makes sense. And that's how you win a league with Caleb Williams. And if he anything like top 12, it's going to be icing on the cake. Even if he top 14, top 15, it's going to be okay. You gave yourself some give. You gave yourself some buffer. If you don't give yourself that and you take him early, he got to be top 5. If not, you're gonna miss out on an elite pick. So that's what I believe about Caleb Williams. Wait late and pick him up. I would say round 8, 9 in single quarterback leagues. Super flex, maybe 4, 5, maybe even probably way farther than that. Just depending on what's left on the board. If somebody overdraft him, that's okay. Then somebody gonna leave you with an elite quarterback like a Jared Goff. I'm not telling you to go get Jared Goff over Caleb Williams if you want Caleb Williams, but if somebody draft Caleb Williams as a top 7 quarterback and then Jared Goff is a top 14 quarterback left on the board, man, that's easy pickings. Go ahead and take that. Don't be angry with your team that you didn't get your guy. Don't overdraft the guy just because you like him. You have a man crush on him. Pause. Okay. So let's move on. Let's move on to my next guy. And it's another quarterback, rookie quarterback. And this is going to be Jaden Daniels. This is going to be D Lion's bro. What's up, D Lion? I see your dollar bill. What's up, bruh? So, Jaden Daniels, guys, has been playing amazing in camp. I said when the guy came out, to me, he don't have a great deep ball, but his accuracy, his anticipation as a scrambling quarterback has been probably one of the best that I ever saw. I've never seen a guy that's very, very athletic like a Michael Vick, and I'm saying he's Michael Vick like a Lamar. Even Lamar, I don't think Lamar was as poised, as thrown in the pocket as Jaden Daniels is coming out of college. Now, is his deep ball, does he have the strongest arm? No. But is he's very, very accurate? I think he's more accurate, if you ask me, than Caleb Williams. And during the game, Caleb Williams is accurate, but Caleb Williams is more like a Pat Mahomes second script guy. He wants to play to break down like a fast break type of guy. Jaden Daniels is an on-time guy, like bam, bam, bam. Read Tom Brady, get the ball out. Like Jaden Daniels can play that type of ball, like a pocket quarterback, like a pure pocket quarterback, and like a tool. He has his arm is like tool within 20 yards underneath. So Jaden Daniels, guys, I think he can come out and handle and be safe for your team even better than Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams has the like upside of making big plays and 50-yard bombs because he scrambled around and threw the ball downfield. But Jaden Daniels is the guy that can come out and be a top 12 the number 1 first week against a tough defense, because this guy can process the defense at the pro level, and he can get the ball out quick and very, very accurate. Very accurate. That's why Malik Davis, Yak, and Brian Thomas Yak was unbelievable. You have to be accurate to make sure your wide receivers are great Yak guys. That's why I was on tour, and everybody said Tua's going to be bad for Tyreek, because y'all think in order to get the ball to Tyreek, you got to be pushing the ball downfield. No, you don't. You got to be getting the ball out and let these guys catch it and be able to make moves. And that's what Jaden Daniels is very, very good at. Guys, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This is cutting edge content. Rami says Jaden Daniels fire. Yes, sir. Guys, I will get to everybody comment. I just want to make sure that I get through the players. I don't want the content to be choppy. So, I will get to everybody comment. If you want to get your comment answered early, make sure you become a member of the channel. And I will skip the line to you. Or if you just want a super chat, then you get your question read out immediately. Okay. So let's go on to my number 8 guy. This guy is a rookie wide receiver. And this was a top 5, top 6 guy for his wide receivers this year when I broke down. If you want to see how I broke this guy down, go sign up for my Patreon. And it's called a Phenom Finder. And I ranked him on my Phenom Finder. So that's why I like this guy. But this guy's going to be a Donu Mitchell or A.D. Mitchell, the wide receiver from the Colts. I think this guy was the other wide receiver on Texans outside of Xavier Worthy. This guy is really, really good. I believe he's going to be the number 2 wide receiver for that team. It's going to be Michael Pittman and A.D. Mitchell. And I think Joshua Downs is going to be in the slot. And Alec Pierce is just going to come in for the 4th wide receiver like an MVS and just run deep routes. He's not going to be the number 2 wide receiver like they thought he had a chance to. So it's going to be A.D. Mitchell. I like A.D. Mitchell. I think this is a guy that you can stash, and he's going very late in drafts. He's not even getting drafted in most redraft leagues unless you are in like a shark league. So I love A.D. Mitchell, guys. This guy is fast. He transferred from Georgia. So these guys that transfer can play. They just not. They didn't think they was gonna get an opportunity with all those stars, right? So they transfer out and try to get another opportunity somewhere else to play quicker. And that's what AD Mitchell is. Runs like a 4-3, very explosive. I think this is a great chance to get some value, and you never know what's going to happen with the Colts. The Colts offense is going to be good this year. Okay, let's move on to my next rookie. Now, this is a guy that I'm not drafting as early as a lot of people, but if he falls, I'm stashing him real quick, and I'm just gonna wait and see what happens. And this guy's gonna be Jonathan Brooks, the Texas running back coming out of college that he got drafted by the Carolina Panthers. He was a second-round pick. Now, listen, I just don't think that Chuba Hubbard is going to lay over and let Jonathan Brooks come out there and just be the #1 bell cow. I do think Jonathan Brooks has good talent, but he had a knee injury, and the only guy that I'm trusting off knee injuries is going to be Adrian Peterson. You got to prove it to me. I'm not going to be the guy that end up drafting the guy that was the #1 running back, even though he had a knee injury. That's just not me. Now, I did like Todd Gurley a few years ago, but I wasn't drafting him super early, and I really wasn't playing fantasy football then. But I did like Todd Gurley, even though he had a knee injury, because he was just like, look at him in college. He was like a Derrick Henry faster coming out, and everybody, so I was willing to take more of a chance. Jonathan Brooks is good. He ain't John. I'm not saying he can't have a good career. I just don't see like a phenom. Oh my God, he run a 4.1. He 240 pounds. He's super special, and he hurt his knee. So if you can get Jonathan Brooks at the right ADP in a redraft league, I think it's worth the stash. But don't be, I got Jonathan Brooks. I think that can hurt. It can hurt you. Now, if you got a good team and you can wait on them, I think it's a fantastic pick if you can wait on them. But if you can't wait on Jonathan Brooks and you need him week 1 to 2 and 3 to win, I think it's a bad pick. I think it's going to be other running backs who are probably going to have more opportunities than him, because Tuber is just not going to lay down. Miles Sanders, I don't think he's great. I don't think they're going to cut him. But Miles Sanders might come out and be better than he was last year. Miles Sanders, I thought Miles Sanders just was overdrafted and overhyped. I think he is a solid athlete. So this could be a committee. Why would they start off and run Jonathan Brooks and his knee could get tweaked or something? They probably gonna bring him along slowly, and then in the 4th quadrant he could be there, but you might not even be in the playoffs for the 4th quadrant. Which the 4th quadrant, guys, if you don't know, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the like button. The 4th quadrant is the fantasy football playoffs. I talk about quadrants all the time. One of the few guys that talk about quadrants. Now, other people do process fantasy football like this, but I call it quadrants. And I believe there's 4 quadrants in football, and each 4 weeks is a quadrant. And what reason why I break it down into quadrants, each 4 weeks, top 5 or top 12 changes. Now, you got all quadrant players. That's who I try to draft in the 1st round. CMC, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson can be those guys. And there's a couple other guys, B. John Robinson. There's other guys that got potential to be where every quadrant, they're going to be top 5. Well, you got some of these other guys where James Conner might not be a top 5 guy into the 3rd and 4th quadrant. He's healthy then. He might get injured early. Or he might be a top 5 quadrant guy for the first 2 quadrants. And then he gets hurt, and then somebody else comes in. So each 4 weeks, guys, people are changing. Wide receivers are getting better. Running backs are getting hurt. Injuries are coming. So you got to be ready for that. So a player that you drop might end up being good for you later. And that's why I frame it in quadrants. So if you got a Jonathan Brooks, he's going to hold up your roster spot all year because you're going to be waiting for him. Because if you drop him and he starts hitting, you're going to be sick. And I don't play sick ball. Once I pick somebody up and I know they got potential and I haven't seen them go out there and be sucky, pause, I'm going to hold on to the guy all year because I'm not giving nobody my money, right? So if you draft Jonathan Brooks, I just want you to know what you're drafting. Now, if he goes out in preseason and he breaks an 80-yard run, maybe that whole thing goes out the door, what I'm saying. And maybe you go ahead and take a shot. Maybe he does take over Chuba Hubbard. Appreciate you being here, Kevin. What's up, bruh? I see you, Gabe Barker. All right, so let's move on. And guys, I just seen the comment. The very next guy is a teammate of his, and is Xavier Leggett. Baby DK Metcalf, making big plays in camp. This is a wide receiver stash guy. You can get this guy. It's going to be easy, as in right now, before preseason start, to get him in a draft, in a redraft league. And I say take him as like a wide receiver 4 or wide receiver 3, depending on your format, how many starting wide receivers. He could be the downfield guy. I do believe that Deontay Johnson is going to be the underneath guy and is going to have a great year as a PPR monster, right? A guy that's getting about 12 targets a game, maybe 8 targets some games, and catching a lot of balls in PPR, getting a lot of points because of PPR. I believe Xavier Leggett could be the downfield guy and end up having 10 touchdowns for this team. And then in the fourth quadrant, he could be on fire. He could be like the guy like a Jamar Chase. We don't know who these guys are going to be. We don't know. We hope it's going to be Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas and Keon Coleman. It could be a guy that didn't get drafted. It could be a 4th round pick like Tank Dell. Now, Xavier Leggett was taken in the 1st round. So he does have that draft capital. He does have the athletic ability. He does have the stature. But I think you can get him easily. And I think this is a great guy that, there's a few wide receivers that I'm willing to stash on my bench. I think this is a guy that I'm willing to do that just to see. I wouldn't hold him the whole year, but I would say, let me see what he's going to be with Carolina. This is a guy that's worth that. He's a rookie wide receiver. ADP is kind of like 12th, 13th. I don't know. It could be moving up as I speak. It could be 9th round right now, 8th round. This depends on your league format if you're a Carolina Panther football fan. Again, guys, put your comments in the comment section. I will get to everybody comment. If you want to skip the line, become a member. If you want to skip everybody and get your comment read out immediately, no matter what I'm saying, then you super chat. And I'm not asking anybody to super chat. I'm just telling you that's the process of how I do it in my channel. So don't think anybody that I'm skipping over you. I'm not skipping over you, but that's the perks on my channel. That's how you get your comments read out. The members go first. Super chats first, then members, and then the order that you made your comment. Okay, let me see. All right, hold on, guys. Let me see something real quick. Okay, there we go. All right, guys, remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Zach says, who do you think is the wide receiver 1 on the Chiefs? I don't think they got a wide receiver 1. Who do I think that I can score more points? I'm taking Travis Kelce out of it because I want to address your question of what you're saying. I would probably say Rashid, just like Kenny just said. I would probably say Rashid. I think Xavier Worthy is going to have a bigger games. I think he's going to have more points. He's going to score the most points in a game situation. I think he might have a couple games where he give you 35 points because he had 2 touchdowns for 70 yards, right? But I do think Rashid Rice will be more consistent with about 13 points a game, 12 points a game. If you want to say that's the number 1, I don't know because with Kansas City, it's Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce. And that's the only thing that you can rely on. That's why I'm not drafting a lot of Isaiah Pacheco because I don't think they really need him. They only need him when the game situation says they need him. With Pat Mahomes, they need him, and I don't mean just to play quarterback, but they need him to score touchdowns in the green zone every single week. And they've always done it, even in cold games. So I would say the guy that I think is the safest would be Rashid Rice. And the guy who I think has the most boom where he could win you a week by himself more times than Rashid Rice could is Xavier Worthy. Don't be surprised if Kadarius Toney have a big week. Don't be surprised if a wide receiver that we ain't heard about on that team, like Marquise, well, we know Marquise Brown. Don't be surprised if Marquise Brown is the most consistent guy. Like I don't think they really care who the number 1 wide receiver is. I think they want to feed the hot hand. Okay. So So let's move on, guys, to my number 11 guy. My number 11 guy is going to be Malik Neighbors, and that's easy. Nobody else on that team like that going to be getting those targets. Malik Neighbors is the guy. I would rather take Malik Neighbors to me over Marvin Harrison Jr. only because of the ADP value. I'd rather take the guy who's going latest. And I think you can get Malik Neighbors at this point in time. He hasn't moved up in the third round, but at this point in time, you can get him in the fourth or fifth round. And I think he's okay even to take as a wide receiver too, building a strong team before you get there and take him. Like if you got some good players like Amon-Ra or Brejon and Brees and stuff like that, then I'm willing to go and take Malik Neighbors as my wide receiver too. You get him as a wide receiver 3, You get him as a wide receiver 3, So that's what I think about Malik Neighbors. He's great value. He's going to get probably lead most rookies and targets if he can stay healthy. Some people are worried about Daniel Jones. Sometimes it don't matter who's throwing you the ball. These are NFL coaches. These are NFL type schemes. These guys are going to be decent. I don't think it's no terrible quarterbacks in the NFL if they have good coaching. If Zach Wilson goes to Kansas City and he starts all year, I think he can win 8 games. So I'm letting you know, ain't no such thing as a bad quarterback with good coaching. Now, are you going to be good enough to win playoff games and take us far? That's a big difference. That's what people are paying for, is can you win a playoff game? Can you beat the Kansas City? Can you win on the road in the cold? That's what people are paying for. They're not paying for if you're NFL, can you get the ball, throw the ball 10, 15 yards? Like all these NFL quarterbacks got big arms. Most of them are accurate. So Malik Neighbors, guys, round 4, gravy. All right, moving on. Zach Seaman says Malik Neighbors equals great wide receiver, terrible offense. Right. And we don't know what this offense is going to be. We don't know how this football is crazy. Brian Daboll could come out and kill it this year. Zach says, you don't think Neighbors is going too high in redraft? No, I don't. He's going at the point where I'm willing to take him. Like I think at that point, rest of the wide receivers and running backs, I think he is valuable enough to take him. Marvin Harrison is going over guys like number 1, like Drake London. That makes me nervous. That makes me nervous to lead that type of talent on the board. Malik Neighbors, mostly like Mike Evans and those guys are gone at that point in time, at that ADP, right? So that's why I don't think Malik Neighbors is going too high. Let me see. He says, where would you draft Neighbors? He is going around DK and Devontae Smith ADP. Okay, in your drafts. I'm not taking them before Devontae Smith and DK. I'm not. I would take Devontae Smith and DK. I don't think Mike Evans is a top 10 wide receiver this year. I'm not drafting him there. He could be. I'm not drafting him there. I don't draft off of just what a guy did previously. If that was the case, I wouldn't have a channel. Because I was like, all y'all got to do is look what happened last year and then draft the guy according to what he did last year. I'm not drafting that regression. I think Mike Evans is older. I think he still is a touchdown monster, but I don't think he's going to get the same amount of targets that he got last year in the first, second, and third quadrant. I think Chris Godwin is going to be the PPR guy, and that's the guy that I'm drafting on that team this year. Okay, let's move on. The next guy, and we've been talking about him, is going to be Xavier Worthy. I'll take him for his big playability, and he plays on a fantastic offense that I trust. Excuse me. He plays on a fantastic offense that I trust. Xavier Worthy probably can lead the league in yak. He might not be getting 7 or 8 targets a game. He might be getting 4 or 5. But out of those 4 and 5, 1 or 2 of them is going to be for 40 yards plus. And that's why I like drafting those type of guys, and I'm willing to take a chance on them. Now, his ADP has dropped lately. It leveled off with that big play that he made the other day with Pat Mahomes threw it backside, right? But he's fell off a little bit, and I think you can get this guy in like round 6 or 7. You can get this guy in like round 6 or 7. He can definitely be your wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 4. So I think that's gravy all day. Now he might start creeping up in camp, and if we see more bigger plays. Zach says Neighbors or Nico Collins. I would go with Neighbors over Nico Collins. I would pivot that ADP of Nico and go with Neighbors. That's a good one, bro. That's a good one. Great tomato. Not saying that I don't like Nico. I love Nico. I think Nico is a fantastic player. But the ADP value of Neighbors to me is better. And he's going to be, I think he could get more targets than Nico. All right, so those are my 12 guys. So I got a couple honorable mention. And then I'm going to get to some of the questions that I skipped over, guys. Be patient. I appreciate everybody being here. The first honorable mention is going to be Troy Franklin. They say that what's the guy? I'm trying to guys help me out in the comment section. What is the rookie quarterback for the Denver Broncos? Bo Nix. Bo Nix. So Bo Nix, guys, they say looks like he's gonna be starting for them. He's gonna be better than Jared Stidham. And so Troy Franklin and Bo Nix had great chemistry. Thank you, Zach. Thank you. They had great chemistry. So that's why I'm liking Troy Franklin. I think Troy Franklin could be one of these Tank Dell type guys that nobody's talking about. And next thing you know, he's a top 12 wide receiver or having some big weeks. So I think Troy Franklin is another guy that you should be picking up and maybe stashing if he stays on the waiver wire after the draft is over. Or you just want to pick him up at the end of your drafts, right? You're trying to just accrue some talented guys. I think Troy Franklin is another guy like a Xavier Leggett that I'm willing to stash as a wide receiver. I don't usually stash a lot of wide receivers, but it's usually 3 or 4 rookies that I'm willing to stash and see what they got. Moving on to my next honorable mention, guys, a running back is going to be Kamani Vidal as a rookie. Kamani Vidal. And the reason why I like Kamani Vidal, Gus Ellis hasn't stayed healthy his whole career. He's missed games, at least 2 games in every season that he's played. So I think Kamani Vidal could come in and be a league winner. And this is a guy that I'm definitely drafting. I don't want to wait till the waivers. I'm drafting him like the end when I'm trying to fill up my team. After I got my starters, I'm going to get Kamani Vidal. I might skip over like George Kittle as a tight end guy. Certain quarterbacks that once I already got my quarterback right, I got this is a high end handcuff, not squeeze, because we don't know. It could be a squeeze opportunity, but we don't know how they're going to deploy these guys. But Kamani Vidal is optimal high premium type backup, and I'm going to get this guy early, depending on how the league break down. I don't know when your draft is going to be over. I draft like 11, 12 spots in my league. So that's why I give y'all different ADPs. My league, I'm drafting, we got like 3 wide receivers with 4 flexes. So as soon as that's over, I'm going to get Kamani Vidal. Harami says, I think Nico is being slept on in a way, and he possibly could. When we talking about draft, you got to try to take the guy that you can see the greatest path for targets, right? Or you take him just to be a big play guy because you believe he's going to have more big plays. But we all know that Tank Dell is special too. He's going to be pushing the ball downfield. So I get it. I'm not going to sit here and say Nico can't be a top 5 wide receiver. I don't sit here and say what people are going to be unless I'm very high on you and I know. Like Tyreek, I know what that is. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I know what that is. Some of these guys in these committees, I don't know what they're going to be. So I'm going to put the ADP down, and I'm not really going to draft them until I see more. I might trade for them later. But in Dynasty, I got a lot of Nico in Dynasty, so I'm just starting them every week. I'm not trading him because I don't like the situation. I'm just going to start him and let him play through the situation. But I'm not going to be drafting him over a guy who's going to be getting alpha amount of targets. Like, I might not even take Nico, and I might go to Keon Coleman if I know Keon Coleman is the #1 wide receiver. So if Keon Coleman get like 8, 9 targets week 1 for like 75 yards, no touchdowns, and Nico blows up for about like 140 yards, I might be willing to trade Nico for Keon Coleman in another piece because Keon Coleman is the number one, gonna be the number one target there, and I don't believe Nico is gonna be the number one wide receiver every single week. He could be, but that's the type of trade that I'm willing to do in a redraft league to build my team to make it better. So if I could trade Nico and get Keon Coleman and let's say another running back, Jahmyr Gibbs or something like that. Just giving an example. Not saying this is what you have to do it this exact same players, but something like that, I'm willing to do that. So yeah, Kamani Vidal, elite backup. Going to my next guy, this is another Denver Bronco. It's going to be Audric Estime. Now listen, Javonte Williams, guys, he could have missed his sometimes players just miss their opportunity and then they got to play through being like a role guy and come back on the back end to ever get like a starting spot. And it's not that hard for a running back. Look at Zach Moss. We thought Zach Moss was chopped liver. I would have called him chopped liver before last year. I got to admit that. I wasn't on Zach Moss. But now he's not chopped liver. He got a deal to be like a goal line guy for the Cincinnati Bengals. And so that could happen for Javonte. Javonte could come out and play good this year. We don't know. But they talking about Audric Estime. They talking about Blake Watson. They don't know. So I like Audric Estime. I'm basically picking him up at the end of my draft. That's why I tell y'all 90%, 80% of your bench spots in the redraft need to be running backs that can come in and boom. Zach says I don't draft Broncos running backs, right? And I respect that, bro. We can't go for anything. You got to have some type of rules to your madness to keep you from just drafting everybody who fall to you. So I have nothing to say about that, bro. Kenny says too bad Javonte Williams was good. He was before he got that injury. Some guys can't play through injuries the way their game is. Okay, a couple more guys I want to talk about. Jermaine Burton, wide receiver, slot guy for the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm not a big T. Higgins guy, but I know Jermaine Burton is a great route runner. He was the number one wide receiver for the Alabama Crimson Tide. So I think Jermaine Burton is a good wide receiver that I think you could pick up, and one of those guys like a Leggett that I think it's okay to wait and see. Even playing with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, I think Jermaine Burton is very talented, and you got a quarterback like Joe Burrow who's going to push the ball downfield. So I'm willing to, take a chance on a guy like Jermaine Burton and pick him up and draft him at the end of my draft. These are rookies, so don't be drafting these guys and try to get cute and try to be like you Nostradamus, right? I don't do the same thing. There's a few guys that I might do that on, like Brian Thomas. I think he was drafted early, so that's not like predicting anything. I'm willing to draft him over probably some like a Marquise Brown. I'm willing, even though I know Marquise Brown playing with an elite offense, I'm willing to draft Brian Thomas, but not no damn Jermaine Burton. I'm not drafting Jermaine Burton over no Tyler Lockett and these type of guys. I'm trying. This is redraft talk, right? And the dynasty is different. Dynasty is different. Right. Zach says I draft Burton around round 17. Right. I'm in some round 24 draft, so it just depends. Another guy's gonna be Jalen Polk. And I like Jalen Polk. I'm definitely drafting him, but he could be the number one wide receiver for the Patriots. Listen, guys, I got to do a video on this. The Patriots is basically like, what would you call it? What would you call it? You could basically go here and get your pick of the litter, and somebody gonna boom. Some outside of Ramondre Stevenson. I'm pretty sure Ramondre Stevenson moved up from like round 5, 6 earlier in this year to like round 4, 5. I mean 3 or 4. But some wide receivers gonna boom. It might be Hunter Henry who gonna have a breakout as a tight end. Drake May could come in and have a really good season. Jalen Polk. It's a couple wide receivers that are there that are rookies or second year guys. Demario Douglas. So I'm willing to try to bet on Jalen Polk and see what happens. And this guy can end up being a 12 target a week guy, and boom, you killed it. The opportunity cost going to win your weeks. He's going to end up being, you're going to be playing him in the flex, and he's getting targeted as a top 12 guy, and he's finishing in the top 12 most weeks. So that's why I want to mention Jalen Polk. And last but not least, guys, is going to be Tyrone Tracy. Tyrone Tracy. And the reason why I like Tyrone Tracy, guys, Devin Singletary doesn't have the capital to me that says that he's going to be the starter every week. I think if Tyrone Tracy can outplay him, he can get a role. If Devin Singletary goes down, Tyrone Tracy could get a role. Now, could they trade for a running back? Yes, they could. I've heard rumors about them trading for a Najee Harris or something like that, but we don't know, right? So I like picking up Tyrone Tracy. I think might even have to draft him. This could be a waiver wire guy. This could be a waiver wire guy. In my leagues, people are picking him up. I can't get him. People was taking him in the 3rd round. I couldn't even get the guy. I've been talking about him ever since the combine came out. One of my favorite guys in camp at the combine. Okay, so let me read out some of these comments. Let's see here. Let's see here. Yep, Eddie, we did Eddie already. He said he had the 1-7, 111, 112. Because I'm stacked at running back and quarterback. Thanks again. I got you, brother. Anytime. Lonely B says Bauer scares me on that offense. Devontae Adams doesn't put up the stats he should in that offense. Right. But that's not what they want to do. You know, Michael Irvin never put up big-time stats because he played in a run-first team, but he won 3 rings. You got to understand this is a difference. That's why a lot of you like guys who just going to be on teams where they just getting targeted, but they're not going to win a lot of games. So Devontae Adams, this team could make the playoffs, but Devontae Adams is gonna have his games because it's gonna be times where they're trying to stop Zamir White, and Devontae gonna have one-on-one coverage, and he gonna make some big plays, especially with some double moves. So I love Devontae Adams. I just not expecting him to be no number 1, number 2 guy. That's not how I look. I don't need you to be that every year of your career. But if I could get you at a good price, a discount, I think Devontae Adams is a discount because he's still elite, and he's still gonna have some big plays and win you some weeks. He just might not finish as the top 5 guy. He might finish as a top 7 guy, and I'm okay with that at his ADP. Kenny says, and you also said Bauer scares me, and that's why you wait late to get Bowers too. You don't know what's going to happen. Kenny says, hey, bro. He said, is there a Pacific formula by any chance, like wide receiver, running back, wide receiver, etc.? No, sir. I'm not going to tell people to do that. Listen, I'm a 0 RB guy. I'm trying to make that bill. I want to get Tyreek and Amon-Ra, but if I can't get Tyreek and Amon-Ra, I'm not taking Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith as my first wide receiver just because I want to go wide receiver. I'm going wide receiver. I'm not taking Breach. I'm not taking Bijan. I'm not taking CMC. I want a wide receiver, and then you're going to leave guys on the board. I'm not doing it. I say take the best available player according from year to year. This year, my favorite running backs are Breach, Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley, Devon A-Chain, Derrick Henry. Now, if those guys are on the board at that ADP, I'm willing to go and take a running back in the 1st or 2nd round. Maybe change the strategy to hero RB. I'm not really big on no combination of what I need to pick. I'm looking at the board. I'm looking at the value of the players. I'm not looking at the name, wide receiver, tight end, quarterback. I don't care nothing about that. I'm looking at who is on the board. If I could go, my first 4 picks could be running backs. I will show y'all. Matter of fact, I'm going to try to post that, guys. That's why I be trying to see y'all receipts. Y'all don't really like to see that. I don't know. Maybe it's just the volume of my channel. But I be showing y'all. I drafted Bijan, Breach, CMC, Saquon in a startup dynasty league. And people like, and I don't mean no harm. My homeboy, he came to me, he was like, TD, man, you switched up your strategy. I said, no, I didn't. I took stars. I took killer players. I don't got it. Bro, you ain't going to make me take A.J. Brown when I'm not on A.J. Brown just because he's a wide receiver. I'm not taking no Devontae Smith just because he's a wide receiver. I'm taking the best killers on the board. For redraft. Dynasty, if it's a tie, I will go with the wide receiver because you know guys get old. You don't want to get guys get an injury and they old running backs. But redraft, I don't care what your age is. If you got something left in the tank, I'm trying to win. I'm drafting you immediately. So no strategy, bro. No strategy. I see Caleb way late, right? And that's okay to take him. Dollar Bill says, bro, what's up? Kenny says Stafford too. I love Stafford. Matthew Stafford is one of the quarterbacks that I'm waiting late to get, yes. But he's not a rookie. So that's why he was on the list. But I love Matthew Stafford this year. Pause. Lonely B says Josh Allen told Keon Coleman that he was the wide receiver he was pushing for. Bam. That's the type of talk. That's the type of stuff that I like to listen to. The stats, yes, stats are good. Maybe y'all want more stats and stuff like that. That's fine. I build my channel 500 people a year, as long as I'm hitting. If I ain't hitting, I'm gonna switch it up and I go get the stats to help myself evolve. But as long as I'm giving y'all the gas, I don't care if they don't want to listen to the videos and that's not a good video. TD, you didn't explain it. I don't know what you saying. I'm laughing at you because you didn't say a word right. I don't give a damn. As long as my players are hitting like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tyreek Hill, David Njoku, Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, Derrick Henry, as long as these guys are hitting that I'm picked, that's what it's about. So when I hear stuff like that, coaches, I go to that. I tend to listen to that as long as I see it on the field too. As long as I see it on the field. You can't take everything that the coaches say, but if you see it on the field and the quarterback is saying, yeah, man, this is what I wanted, kind of like Tank Dell and C.J. Stroud. I wasn't on no Tank Dell, but I still drafted him. Once I started seeing him in preseason, I eventually got on the train. Kenny says could be offensive rookie of the year. Most definitely. Lonely B says Caleb is going late. I like the weapons he has to throw to. Right. He has a lot of weapons. So that's a good quarterback to wait late and build your team around. Let me see. Kenny says Jaden was hanging around. Right. Right. Jaden is going to have a lot of passing yards behind being behind a lot. Right. That defense, I don't know. We don't know how good that defense is going to be. Okay, let me see something, guys. I want to make sure I ain't missing certain stuff. Conscious Machine, what's up, bruh? Zach says I drafted Burton in round 17. Okay, we did that one. And he says Gibbs or Kyron. As a matter of fact, let me do that. I'm gonna do that tomato real quick. I'm gonna do that tomato real quick. That's a good one, bro. That's a good one. Y'all know y'all gotta let me know about putting up the tomato. You know we're gonna do our tomatoes every time I do a live. We're gonna do our tomatoes. Okay, and Gibbs. What'd you say? You said Gibbs or who? I see you, Tron Force. He says Kyron. Okay, I posted that tomato. Okay, and Zach says, would you rather draft Rico Dowdle? Over who? Oh, would rather draft Rico Dowdle over Broncos running backs. I agree with that. Reason why I'm talking about Broncos running backs is some rookies on that team. And you got to draft them just because we don't know what's going to happen, right? Sometimes a guy can be good just because somebody got hurt in front of him and he comes out and has some big games and now he's good. We don't know. Look at Zamir White. Zamir White would have been undrafted. Nobody would have drafted him, but he came in and played good in the fourth quadrant. Now he's being taken in the fourth and fifth round. So that's how it happens. It ain't always about talent. So yes, I would rather have Rico Dowdle, but if somebody goes down, if Javonte Williams gets traded or cut, they're not scared to cut Javonte Williams. If they cut Javonte Williams, I would love to have Audric Estime or Blake Watson. Let's see. Conscious Machine says, I've been staying away from football talk. I lost my championship. I was broken. Let's do this. Yes, sir, bro. I know. I figured that happened. He says, I do keep Gibbs for my third round pick this year or keep Nico for my 10th. I would probably keep Gibbs for that third round. I think that's still really good value. I think he's going in the second round. Nico is great value in the 10th, though. That's great value, man. Especially if you can go back and get Amon-Ra or Tyreek Hill to mix it in with Nico, Nico just gonna be left over to do his thing. You're not worried about what he do week to week because he's a 10th round pick for you. So actually, the better value is Nico. But if you love Gibbs and that's your boy, you go with it. But the better value is Nico all day. The better value is Nico. I'm gonna get to you, Tron. I see your question, but I gotta get to these other guys first. Appreciate you being here, bro. Let me see. Jaden is gonna have a lot of passing yards, being behind a lot, and rushing yards. I agree with that, Kenny. Gabe Barker says I love AM, which is AD Mitchell from the Colts. Kenny says Xavier Leggett is a good pickup. Yes, he is. Let's see here. Zach says I have been doing a lot of best ball drafts, and Zamir White is getting drafted a lot earlier now. He's getting picked up in early round 5 in some drafts. Yes, people are on him now. People are on him. Kenny says Xavier Leggett a good pickup. Yes, not a bad late pickup. I'm not big on the Panthers, but he's got the potential. Right. It's not about the Panthers. I'm not scared to draft good players or great players on bad offenses. I'm not scared. I'm just getting a certain guy. It's not like I'm drafting the whole team. I'm not squeezing that team. Kenny says, yeah, that was supposed to be a question mark. Thanks. Okay, got you. Yes, he's Xavier Leggett is a great late pickup. Kevin, he says traded Debo and Russell Wilson for Jonathan Brooks and a 25-second. 12 super flex, 12-man super flex, start 9, my third RB. I wouldn't have done it, Kevin, because you traded Debo. I think you could have got something better. I would have took I would have wanted a first somewhere in there. Maybe even a 26 first, because it is Debo. Debo, when he's healthy, he's elite. So I wouldn't have traded Debo for a second-round pick and Jonathan Brooks. Jonathan Brooks was a second-round pick too. He didn't go. I think he was going in the late first round of startup drafts for Dynasty. But I would have tried to get a first round or a better player than Jonathan Brooks. But if you have Jonathan Brooks, you believe that he's going to break out, and you down with that, that means that you say, oh, that's the guy. He's special. He's special. Then you made a great pick. You made a great trade. But if you just believe, oh, I'm just trying to get a starting running back, and they said he's good, then I think that was a bad move. So you got to make that move if you believe in Jonathan Brooks. That's the only way I'm making that move. Kenny says Debo will have 8 to 10 touchdowns and 800 yards receiving, 200 rushing. I believe that if he's healthy. That's easy. That's why I would have wanted at least a first-round pick somewhere in the next 2 years. Kevin says, thanks for coming on about that time. Yes, sir, bruh. We almost there. Zach says, okay, we did that one. Let's see. Gabe Barker says, Neighbors is a dog. Yes, sir. He's a beast. Kenny says, too bad he doesn't have a better quarterback. Right. A lot of guys don't have great quarterbacks, but they still play through. They still play through. At his ADP, I think you got to trust it to see what's going to happen as your second wide receiver off the board, per se, just depending on your build. Zach says Malik Neighbors equals great wide receiver, terrible offense. Yes, sir. Kenny says Montgomery can't replace healthy Saquon. Montgomery can't replace healthy Saquon. What I don't know what that means, but yes, I'm taking Saquon all day. I'm either taking Saquon's at the end of the first round. I'm taking Saquon at the end of the first round if I have to. Definitely at the 2-1. Definitely at the 2-1. Conscious says, I need your thoughts on Neighbors. I can't see the hype. He is on the Giants. Jones is not him. Right, I feel you. I'm willing to take him as my wide receiver 2 or my wide receiver 3. Chris Villa says, how much better is Gibbs than A-Chain? I think A-Chain is on a better offense. I think they are basically the same guy. I'm not necessarily gonna say Gibbs is better than A-Chain. I think Gibbs might be a better receiving back than A-Chain, but I think A-Chain is faster, long speed. And I think A-Chain plays on a better offense where he can have bigger plays because of you got speed like Jalen Waddle and stuff. Boy, Gibbs, he got a good offense, but he a better, like they just gonna make sure he get the ball because of the team that he plays on. But I believe A-Chain is gonna have more yards per carry. That doesn't make him better. So I think that's a great tomato, but I'm willing to go with A-Chain because of the offense that he's on. I think he's going to have a lot of big running lanes to run through because nobody's going to put any 8-man boxes against the Miami Dolphins. Where you will see some 8-man boxes against the Detroit Lions, because if you don't, that offensive line is elite and they are great run offense. They was top 5 according to PFF last year. So, Gibbs is going to do him. I just think A-Chain, I don't think Mostert and Wright is going to take carries from A-Chain the way I believe David Montgomery would take carries from Gibbs. Kenny says, is Mike Evans a top 10 guy? And I talked about that earlier. I don't think so this year, not for me. Kenny says, a lot of mouths to feed on a Houston offense. Yes, it is. We all know that. A lot of mouths to feed. Kenny says, Cortland Sutton could be traded to a contender at deadline, right? And that's gonna make more opportunities for Troy Franklin and Marvin Mims, who is a sleeper for me, Marvin Mims. Lonely B says, yeah, if it wasn't for Diggs, Nico could be going as a top 12 wide receiver. Nico has proved he's legit in the NFL and on a good offense. Agreed. Kenny says, too bad Javonte Williams was good. Was good, right. Let me see. Kevin says, waiting on Leggett and Burton is like baking a lemon cake. When it's done, it might be the best. Right. Right. I like that. I like that comparison. I like that metaphor, bruh. Yes, sir, Kevin. Lonely B says, injuries create bell cow backs. Come on now. Shh. Come on now. It says injuries create bell cow backs every year at running back. Those running backs bench stashes pay dividends. That's good advice. Yes, sir, bro. Yes, sir. I say this all the time. I'm just gonna keep making the content. I'm not saying I take it personal, but some of the things that I say, and I understand it, everybody want to beat to their own drum, and I respect that. I don't never want to tell y'all to do things that get you off your MO, right? Draft the guys that you like. But I tell y'all a lot of things that y'all don't listen, and then when it happens, y'all act like it's everybody know. Like when I talk about Tyreek, y'all act like everybody talked about Tyreek. I got y'all on Tyreek so much, you act like Tyreek is nothing. We know about Tyreek, TD. Well, who put you on Tyreek? Who said that Tyreek was better than Justin Jefferson and take him before Jamar Chase? Now everybody's taking him before those guys, but I told y'all the last 2 years to do it. Now it's just clockwork. That's supposed to be comments that you're supposed to be putting in the comment section. And I see the ones when you don't put that in the comment section. I know what you are about when you come and look at my channel. Because what else? I'm not giving you no special algorithm. I'm giving you the guys. So when I hit, that's the things that I need. I need that. All right, TD was on Tyreek Hill. I'm not gonna give you no special algorithm with a bunch of pictures in a live video, right? Several players that I was on like that. Even when I give y'all the receipt videos, y'all don't want to watch them. You want me to make new content. That's why I don't even talk about the receipts as much. Because I got plenty of receipts out there, but it don't get no views. I'm not wasting my time. And I understand it. We need to get ready for this year's. And another thing, guys, about timestamps. I know I don't do a lot of timestamps, but now the long lives, I understand that. I will be doing timestamps for the hour-long lives because that makes sense. Nobody wants to watch a bunch of banter and not be watching the content. But my 10-minute videos, I'm not putting no timestamps in them. I'm not putting no timestamps in no 10-minute video. If you can't watch my video for 10 minutes or less, then I don't know what to tell you. Because it ain't helping me out to put timestamps in there in 10-minute videos. Okay, let's see here. Gabe Barker says Gibbs. So we talked about who we picking between Gibbs and Kyron. Right now, Gibbs is winning the poll. People are taking Gibbs over Kyron. I don't think that's bad. I understand why you would take Gibbs. To me, it don't matter. But I understand why Gibbs would be number one. I probably would pick Kyron because he's going later. And I don't think Blake Corum's going to come in and be a David Montgomery. I don't think Blake Corum is a David Montgomery. I think Kyron's going to get first deals for that first touchdown. As long as he's healthy. Kenny says, I think Gibbs has longer runs and will have more touchdowns, but people love Kyron. I don't know if he's gonna have more touchdowns than Kyron. I don't know. It's a good one, man. Either one of you good with. I just think David Montgomery could be a top 12 guy. I don't think Blake Corum could be a top 12 guy. So that's why I would go with Kyron. Gabe says, in the same way, in my first dynasty league, and it's super flex, so I went back-to-back QBs to start when all the elite receivers and running backs were already gone. So I picked up Sam Laporta at the turn of the third. Right. And if you believe in Sam Laporta, that's a great move. That's called zigging when they zagging. That's calling no sloppy seconds. That's one of my drafting strategies. Go back and look at my drafting strategy video where I gave up 4 drafting strategies. And one of my strategies was no sloppy seconds. And what that means is once everybody got all the quarterbacks and everybody's going out to running backs and receivers, I'm going to go into that. I'm going to be the first one in that tight end pool. Now, if you still see running backs and wide receivers that you like there, that you believe is going to be elite, just like Amon-Ra St. Brown, he was the 6th wide receiver coming off the board last year. I was still okay with getting what you call those sloppy seconds, but I wasn't going to be getting running backs in the dead zone like Joe Mixon. Oh, well, Joe Mixon? No, why? I'm not taking no Joe Mixon. Not saying Joe Mixon sucked, but he wasn't an elite guy. Well, you could have got Kyron Williams off the waivers. That's the guy that you want to get instead of getting these dead zone guys that has no upside, or pick up a Devon A. Chain when he have a little bit of a run, right? Before he start going crazy. That's why I like to wait on running backs a little bit. I don't like to get guys who that's because they got an opportunity. Like Devin Singletary, he's okay, but I don't plan on him being the starter all year. That's how that happens. I'd rather wait and get a waiver wire guy. Harambe says Kyron on the field a lot, more so than Gibbs. Right. Facts. Conscious Machine says Devontae might get traded during the season. Big value. Right. Facts. Kenny says, will Levis have any value? And that's crazy. Because I'm thinking you're saying Will Levis, but you saying Will Levis have any value in a 12-team league? Yes, if you want to wait late or have him as your quarterback too, in case he hits, and then you can trade him. That's the only value. Tron Force, appreciate you being here, bruh. I know you've been patiently waiting. He says, I had Mahomes, Chase, Devontae Adams, Debo, Monty, and Andrews last year and didn't even make the playoffs. Yes, and let me tell you why, Tron. So I'm not going to sit here and try to say, oh, I know everything and I told people not to get these guys. I was telling people to don't draft Chase. It's guys that's in this live right now, and I love them to death. But they thought I was crazy when I said not to draft Chase. And they sitting around waiting for Amon-Ra to fail. They waiting for Tyreek and these guys to fail. You will see, as soon as the guys do bad, they make a comment, LOL. Just because I picked one guy bad. But they don't say, hey, Tita, you hit on Tyreek. Tita, you hit on Amon-Ra. They don't care nothing about that. What did I miss it? Because they want to prove that they're better than me. And that's fine. I don't mean that as a bad way. But let me tell you, brother, this is the reason why I'm telling you this, Tron. Chase was a great pick last year. Mahomes was a great pick. Devontae Adams was a great pick. All these guys, you didn't do anything wrong, but each year, man, it changes. You have to get offenses are moving forward, and it's only about 3 or 4 guys that you can pick every single year that you can count on and say, I'm okay with that. Now, Mahomes, to me, I'm not drafting a lot of Mahomes. The reason why, I think he's trying to win championships. He's not worried about scoring 50 touchdowns. Can he score 50 touchdowns? You better believe it. Hell yeah, he can. But is he worried about doing it? No, they want to win the game. That's why I'm not drafting a lot of Travis Kelce. Because Travis Kelce, he don't got nothing to prove. He's about to get married to Taylor Swift. He's making a lot of money. He can push his coach and don't get in any trouble. He don't care nothing about that. They just want to win championships. So he's not worried about no stats. But when the playoffs come, they're going to show you how good they are. But that's not for us. We want teams that's going to be trailing and trying to score a lot of points and stand on the field. You got guys, to me, like Chase, and I didn't take a lot of Chase and Burrow. And the reason why I didn't take a lot of Chase and Burrow is because that team, to me, you can scheme that team up and you can take away Chase. And I don't believe T. Higgins was good enough. Now, Chase is still a great player. I'm not going to tell you to draft him in the first round. I would take him sometimes in the first round. But I believe like Tyreek and Amon-Ra, the way their offenses are built, I feel like they evolve around their teams. And you can't double team them, because if you double team these guys, they got other weapons. So I give guys different players each year according to who I think is very talented and going to be balling out. And according to how they use and how they're going to be used into fantasy football points. So I'm not drafting a lot of Chase this year because I think they're going to try to double team Chase. I'm taking Tyreek Hill because you can't double team Tyreek Hill. If you double team Tyreek Hill, then Devon H ain't going to beat you. And if you come in the box and try to start those two, then Jalen Water going to beat you. And if you try to do some type of magical trick, then you got Odell Beckham hitting you with a double move. And then you got Mostert coming in and could break a touchdown on you. So they got so many weapons. But this year, I could tell you, these are a few players that I want to tell you that I think you should be drafting. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is a special guy. I think you should need to be taking him over Chase. I think Tyreek Hill is special. Who else? Some other guys that I think you should be on. Bijan Robinson and Breach Hall. I think those guys, I'm willing to take those 2 running backs this year. So those are a couple first-round picks that I think is going to be trending that maybe wasn't trending as much as last year, but I think this year is going to be different for them, and I'm willing to go down with the ship. But you didn't do it. Man, that was a great team last year. It just, man, things change in fantasy football, and you have to change each year. You can't pick the same players all the time. Let's see. Kenny says, what is way too early to take a quarterback if there is a too early? I don't think it's a too early. And now it depends on your scoring or your league. In my leagues, quarterbacks are scoring. When they have great games, they scoring 40 points. In my dynasty leagues, they scoring 40 points. So to me, even as I don't play in single quarterback leagues a lot, but in a super flex league, I take a quarterback with #1 overall pick. In single quarterback league, I would take one at the end of the second round at the turn. I mean, if I really believe in a guy and I think he's gonna be he's gonna like he's gonna throw for like 5,000 yards and rush for 1,000. I'm willing to take him at the beginning of the second round, at the end of the first round. Even in single quarterback leagues, if you got high scoring. Now, if your quarterbacks are scoring when they have great games, only scoring 25 points, and then you got running backs with 2 touchdowns that's close to that, no, don't take a quarterback. You got to look at your scoring. Scoring matters. My leagues, quarterbacks score a lot of points because they always got the ball, and I'm giving them points for first downs, rushing first downs, completions, all of that. Then take a quarterback. I don't think it's too early to take a quarterback. You just got to make sure your build makes sense. That the guys that you're getting, if you squeeze in our offense, you got Matthew Stafford and you got Puka Nacua and you got Kyron Williams, stuff like that. Great question, Kenny. Tron says, any good auction draft advice? 0 RB, hero RB. Go get your players and spend all your money and then wait late and pick up the guys that people are giving up $2 or $3 for. So this is what I would say. This is what I want you to do, Tron. I would go spend all my money for Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tyreek Hill, and Bijan Robinson. I don't care what it costs. Make sure you win those 3 guys, and then just wait late Don't spend no more money on none of the other guys. Wait, get to the end of your draft and start taking guys like Matthew Stafford, Jaden Daniels for your quarterback. Get tight ends like David Njoku. Guys is gonna be going late now. Get wide receivers like Tyler Lockett. Some of these rookie wide receivers. Your team's gonna be fine because you got 3 studs. You got Amon-Ra, Tyreek, and Bijan Robinson. So I would say for 3, get your 3 pillars, 3 top of the line players, and then the rest of the players just sit around for about 15, 20 minutes and wait till everybody spend all their money and start getting those players for $5 and $3 because you might only have like $20 left over. I don't know how your league does that. Let's see here. Let me make sure I ain't got any. Zach says, would you rather draft Njoku a couple rounds later than to do Kincaid earlier? I'm okay with going Kincaid early. I love David Njoku, but I think Kincaid is going to be hyper targeted. You know, like I said, I'm not going to be even fair to y'all. I love David Njoku. I'm waiting. I'm probably going to get Njoku, but I don't feel great about like not drafting Kincaid at the right ADP, and is not that many studs left on the board. So I'm not going to draft Kincaid over Jalen Waddle. I'm not drafting Kincaid over Derrick Henry or Devon A-Chain. But if a lot of those guys are gone and I'm down to another tier like Jackson Smith and Jigba type guys, you know, Christian Watson, I'm definitely taking Kincaid there. And I probably won't worry about getting a tight end, like far as Njoku or another tight end. So it just depends on what's on the board for the wide receivers and running backs. There's a couple of wide receivers and running backs that I'm not drafting over that I'm not going to take Kincaid over. I'm not going to take Kincaid over a couple of running backs and wide receivers that I'm high on. Constant Machine says, TD got a stack of receipts buying Amon-Ra. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm big on Amon-Ra. Big on Amon-Ra. Zach says, I would rather draft Jordan Love over Hurts. I agree. I would too. I would rather wait late on that. Frankie Knuckles, appreciate you being here, bro. Cutting edge content here. I guess I'll go ahead and read this out real quick. He says, Sun God offense runs through him. He has been better every year. Right. It runs through him, but they don't need to run through him, right? If you try to stop Amon-Ra St. Brown, David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs is going to kill you. I listened last year with Trey McBride. Huge pickup in my dynasty. Thank you, bro. And guys, I like those type of comments because it helps me push out content. It helps me share. That's the way my content is built. It's between the relationships that I have with my subscribers. Guys, people are tuning into my video. They don't appreciate the way my slang is. They think they smarter than me. They think I don't know what I'm talking about. They think that I got autism. They think I can't elegantly speak, whatever. But from where I come from, I speak very well. I'm from the country, from a small town called Saxby Hall in North Carolina, where we got a big slang. So that's fine. I'm not trying to talk about, they don't like the way I talk. But you know what makes my channel hit? They're like, hey, I don't care what TD's saying. He didn't want to put me on Tyreek Hill. He didn't want to tell me to draft Matthew Stafford. He didn't want to say that Jared Goff was going to get a deal from Detroit. He didn't suck. He said that Tua Tagovailoa was going to get a deal. I've been saying this for 3 years. I said Tua was a good quarterback, and when Tyreek got there, I said Tua might be a Hall of Famer because Tyreek. TD, you love Tyreek. And then listen, one guy that I'm wrong on, and I'm waiting, is Daniel Jones. And when Daniel Jones hit, now if he don't hit, I'm gonna keep my glasses off and be like, hey, one of my worst picks. But if he comes through, and then listen, last year was a bad pick. Daniel Jones wasn't a good pick. I still think he's a great quarterback. I think he's just in a bad situation. Go back to Steve Young. Steve Young played with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he was terrible, way worse than Daniel Jones. But he went to a winning franchise like the San Francisco 49ers, and his career changed. So Daniel Jones' career can change. Zach says, do a poll, Stroud versus Josh Allen. I got you, bro. Okay, Gibbs won this one. All right, let me do this new poll. All right, I'm going to end this one. Guys, that's what you get. So Zach gets to help control the poll because he is a member of the channel. Appreciate you, Zach. Yes, sir. So, hold on here. Charlene, what's going on with you? I see you in the building. Okay, let me make this poll. Be patient with me, guys. Appreciate everybody being here. I really appreciate you guys. Let's see. We doing CJ Stroud. And Josh Allen. Okay. All right. Thank you, Gabe. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. What was we at? Rami says Roadhouse Kincaid 100. Yes. I can't get your pun sometimes, Harambe. I know you great with the. I think you trying to. I don't know what goes with the Kincaid with the Roadhouse. Oh, he said Dalton. I see that Roadhouse. Guys, help me with that. I'm sorry, I'm a little slow on that one. Zach says, should I trade a first-round pick for Tyreek Hill in Dynasty this year to secure a championship? Also have Amon-Ra, Puka, Flowers, Saquon, Stroud, Zamir. Yes, sir, Zach. I would do that. Because, bro, you a great picker, bro. You don't need first-round picks. That's why the Rams and San Francisco, they're not worried about no first-round picks. You got the squad. You got your first-round picks. Who are you trying to build on to? You trying to, unless you ain't trying to get a particular player or something, no, bro, go do that. Go get that Tyreek Hill and win that championship, bro. Now, it ain't guaranteed, but I'm looking at that team, bro. Hey, I'm putting $100 on your team that you win a championship with Amon-Ra, Puka, Flowers, Saquon, Zamir, McBride, James Cook, and Tyreek. Yes, that's a great move. Fantastic move. That's what I do. That's how I play Dynasty. If I need to go get a guy, an older 30-year-old guy that I know is a monster, I'm willing to give up that first-round pick because I'm going to pick guys in the second round like Tank Dell and stuff like and Kristen Watson. Let's see. Make sure. Okay, yeah, I think I got everybody. Contra says, so he wasn't the #1 pick, but TD told me to take Amon-Ra. Right. Okay, he says, Zach says, I listened to you last year when you said not to draft Jamar Chase and draft Amon-Ra instead. Right. Appreciate that, Zach. And guys, like I said, I don't need no pat on the back, but this is the way my channel gonna grow, right? I think this is my strength. This is my superpower. If you want to call, I love superheroes. My superpower is being able to look at players and say who's elite talent and who I should be building my team around. That's what I do. Me looking at players, all the players in the NFL, and doing a stat board and making up a graph with it, that's not my strong suit because it takes away of me loving the game, the creativity, me watching it and getting that feeling that I get. That's not me. I played the game. I don't need to make graphs. I can process it in my head. And so when I see Amon-Ra and I see how this team is built, when I love a Dan Campbell team, when they're going to run the ball and you got an alpha like that with Amon-Ra. Guys, I was on Amon-Ra. I kept talking about Amon-Ra for 2 years. And I wasn't surprised when he got a deal. And people say, oh, that's spicy. You think Amon-Ra should be a top pick in the first round? You should take him as the #3 pick and all that. Yes, I do. I think this year he should be the #2 pick. I'm taking Tyreek and Amon-Ra as the first 2 picks off the board. I'm not taking CMC. Not that he sucked. That's just the way I see it. Thank you. Appreciate that, Zach. Connie says, I drafted Chase 1-on-1 in a keeper league, and he wasn't there for my championship. TD knew. Right. Facts. I didn't know. I'm not gonna sit to say I knew. I was just like, I don't know. I don't even want no credit for that because I didn't know. Chase is a monster, guys. I'm not trying to predict Chase to he suck. He's a monster. But when I watch that offense, it's like Joe Burrow dropping back, looking for Chase. That's all they got. I don't believe Zach Moss is going to be running over people. I do like Chase Brown because I do think they're going to be trailing. I don't think that defense is that good. I don't think the coach designs great plays for Joe Burrow. But what makes that coach good, he let Joe Burrow go and do him. And sometimes that's all you need to do. Just step out the way and let a quarterback be him. And Andy Reid does that, but he also teaches too. But other than that, man, I think it's just Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. That's all on that team, and that's why I wasn't on Jamar Chase last year, and I'm really not taking him a lot this year, and I traded him away after that big season that he had. Like, I did some redraft, well, not redraft, but I did some Dynasty League startups, and I drafted him, and then I traded him. And I went and got, like, Jared Goff, Amon-Ra, Christian Watson. I got, like, a whole stable of players for him. Because I'm like, man, this guy, he's going to be good, but I don't know if I want to base my team around him like he's going to be having 2,000 yards every season. Let me see. Chris V says, Will have enough will. I like that, Chris. Hilarious. Hector says, I sleep on Jalen McKillen, and Luke McCaffrey. Hey, those are guys that can come in. I know Jalen was a running back for the Alabama, and Luke McCaffrey is Christian McCaffrey's brother. Those guys could be fine. I think those are great dynasty pickups, but in redraft, I can't touch them, Hector. In redraft, I can't touch them. Chris says, yeah, A-Chain been injury prone, but he was a sprinter in college. He should be more solid this year. Yes, and injury prone guys, I'm willing to take for the upside. The only reason why I'm willing to take A-Chain in the beginning of the second round, and I'm willing, if he gets hurt, I don't think my team is going to be down, is because, man, if he stays, guys, only if he give me 6 games, he's going to give me 6 games as the top 5 running back. This guy is not going to be scoring, like running the ball for 5 yards. This guy's going to be making people miss, and when he get around the corner, he's gone. And then y'all going to understand why I talk about big plays more than a guy that's going to get 50 carries. I don't care if you get 50 carries. I'm not going to draft you because you're going to get 50 carries unless I'm getting 5 points per carry. I want the guy who's going to get the carry and be gone for 70, gone for 40. That's what I'm drafting. And that's what I think A-Chain is. And I'm willing to take him even though he's injury prone because of the way this offense is built. It's like the Golden State Warriors, where everybody's going to be open to shoot threes. And they're going to be shooting like 33s a game. And same thing with Miami. Everybody going to be having big plays. Water going to have a big play. Tyreek Hill going to have a big play. Devon A-Chain going to have a big play. Raheem Mostert might have a couple big plays. Let's see here. Conscious Machine says, I think Hero RB is everyone's strategy this year. How do we counter that? If I keep Gibbs in my third, I can still get a bell cow in the first when then pick up a wide receiver in the next few rounds. Right. It's so many strategies this year. To me, I think it's about getting your guys. If you think that Gibbs is going to be a top 5 running back, bro, you stay with him. Don't worry about what value that you're going to be missing a pick in. And you're right. You can still get a Breach or a Brees, or you can still get a Bijan. You can still get Kyron. It's still going to be running backs out there for you to get to help with Gibbs. And it's a lot of good wide receivers that's going late, like a Nico Collins, other guys. So I agree with that strategy. Let's see here. Conscious Machine says, I thought I need your thought on Neighbors. Okay, yeah, right. I see that. Chris says, how much better is Gibbs than A-Chain? We did that one. Right now, Josh Allen is winning over who did we do? Over CJ Stroud. And Gabe Barker says, Giants are a bad team, but Neighbors is the shining star on that team. Compare him to Devontae Adams last year. Great late pickup. Right. I don't know if the Giants going to be a bad team, guys. Stuff change. It changes. I could be biased because I do like Daniel Jones. I do think he's a good player. I think he just needs to evolve. But if they move on from him, I have to go down with that, and I'm not going to be surprised. I understand they got to do what they got to do. But I'm still gonna pick up Malik Neighbors. I don't need a great situation for that type of player. He's a boom player. It don't gotta be special. He's gonna get the volume, and he's fast, he's dynamic. Now if you draft him number 1 overall, that's different. And I know, and I'm being facetious, but I'm just telling you, at his ADP, he's money. Chris says Adams kind of slept on this year. Right, I agree with that. Conscious Machine says Devontae might get traded during the season. Right. Chris Villa says, any predictions? Okay, let me see. Let me go through my rankings and say, one prediction is I think CJ Stroud, it could be the #1 quarterback. I think Matthew Stafford could be an MVP candidate. Just because you're the #1 quarterback don't mean you're gonna be MVP. Remember last year, Josh Allen was like #1 quarterback, but Lamar won the MVP. I think Matthew Stafford could be an MVP player for the NFL this year. So that's another prediction. Running backs, I believe Saquon Barkley is going to be top 5 and it's going to be easy. I love Saquon Barkley. For as wide receivers, I think Puka Nacua could be top 5. Maybe that's not that good of a prediction, but I think not CeeDee Lamb, but Puka Nacua. I think Zay Flowers could be top 5. I think he has the potential to be a top 5 guy. And if he ain't, as long as he finishes in the top 12, I'm okay with it. Tight ends, I think David Njoku has a chance to be the #1 tight end. I think David Njoku has a chance. So hopefully those things helped you out, bro. Gabe says, for pretty good reason, not what he used to be, but still solid, Chris. He said true, but quarterback situation is slightly better, hopefully. Okay, that was earlier. Okay, we did that one. Let's move down. Let's see. Zach says, should I try trading a first and a third for Tyreek? If he declines, yes, I would do a first and a third. Keep that second. Keep that second. I wouldn't give up a first, second, and a third. If you did, I don't think it's a bad move. If you got some other draft pick, if your team is good, you got a young team, bro. I might give up the first, second, and third. I do what I need to do to get Tyreek. I wouldn't do nothing dumb. I wouldn't give up. Maybe you could do this. Maybe you can give up your first from next year and the year after. Maybe you can give up first for 25 and 26. I don't think that's crazy. I wouldn't give up 3. I wouldn't give up 3. Kenny says, who needs to have a short memory when it comes to football? Right. Facts. Oh, okay. Everyone, not a who. Everyone needs to have a short memory when it comes to football. Right. I'm gonna give y'all my top 5 right here. Guys, I'm gonna do a video where I got up my rankings and I'm gonna share a couple of my rankings from 1 to 24, and I'm gonna do a live on it. And it's just gonna be my rankings, and I'm just gonna break them down and tell you why I'm ranking the guys the way I am. So that is coming. That video, that live is coming. But right here, my top 5, my #1 quarterback this year is gonna be CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud is my #1 quarterback. My #2 quarterback this year is going to be Lamar Jackson. My #3 quarterback is Jalen Hurts. My #4 quarterback is going to be Jordan Love. And my #5 is going to be Pat Mahomes. And I have Josh Allen as #6 this year as total fantasy points and rankings right now, as in right now. And that can change each week. Okay. Gabe says, for sure, I'm not reaching for guys I don't want. Right. Facts. Conscious Machine says Lamar. Yes, I love Lamar this year. I think Lamar's going to throw for 40 touchdowns the first time in his career. I think he throwing for 40 touchdowns. Chris says, yeah, H.A.'s been injury prone, but was a sprinter in college. Okay, we did that already. He says Josh Allen winning the poll right now. Yes, sir, he is. and draft Amon-Ra instead. Right. It was a few other things too, man. A few other really good hits that I was on. David Njoku came through for me last year. No, I stayed on Njoku. People like, I don't like Njoku, Tita. They just don't throw in the ball. And then he got Joe Flacco and started balling out. And then sometimes my assessment could be good and it could be correct, but they not giving the guy the targets. That's why I want to be more of a player guy. That's all I can. I'm not gonna go off because the guy is not getting any targets, and I'm not gonna talk about him because I don't think he's gonna get the targets. I gotta talk about the talent. If I see a talented guy, I'm gonna talk about him. Now, it's up to y'all to what y'all want to do. If you don't believe he's gonna get enough targets to pick him, then I understand and I respect that. But I gotta watch the game and see the talent. If I go off of just who's gonna be somebody's favorite target, then that's not gonna be TD. That's not my content. Now, I would give you I would tell you, listen, I like this guy. I don't know how many targets he's going to get, though. So I will put that in there, but I'm going to give you the guy. So when I see David Njoku, and Harambe said this last night, night before last, he said David Njoku could be one of the most talented, gifted guys in the whole NFL as far as his athletic ability. Okay, we did that. Yep. So Chris talked about I listened to you last year with Trey McBride, huge pickup in my dynasty league, right? Frankie says, Sun God offense runs through him, right? We talked about that. And Charlene says, hey TD, how was your vacation? It was really good, really good. Y'all should follow me on Facebook. I posted a couple of videos of me being in the bars. I posted a couple of beach pics, but I'm not really a big picture guy, right? I'm a man. I don't be making selfies like that. Every now and then I might make a selfie just to go out and let the haters know what I'm doing as far as in my past and some of my family members. That's neither here nor there. But yes, guys, I had a ball, man, and I was out there for a week, and I stayed busy. I mean, I was tired because I was trying to do a lot of vacation. Guys, we would go to bed about 11 o'clock. And then wake up at 9 o'clock, go eat breakfast with the family, and then we would go to the beach, and we would do it over again. And after we left out of the beach at about 4 or 5 o'clock, or we went to the pool, then we would go dress, put on some clothes, go to the bar. And I did that for 6-7 days, and I was wore out. And so I slept like a baby today. Because I gotta get that. You gotta vacate from the vacation. The vacation will wear your ass out now. Vacation will wear you out, but I had fun. I'm ready to go. Guys, we're gonna keep putting out content. We're gonna do what we gotta do. I am gonna do some more mock draft, guys. I just want you to know that. But like again, the mock drafts don't do well for me, but I will do some more mock drafts, especially before the crunch time. Right now, a lot of people are not drafting, but I'm gonna do some more of that. Guys, make sure you get them consultations too. Make sure you sign up. If you want to support the channel, sign up as a member. Guys, it's $1. It's no excuse for not to show support or become a member. If I see if I made it $40 to be a member, no, it's $1 to be a member for the whole month. And you get your questions read out ahead of everybody. And also you get to come into mock drafts. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, Gabe says good advice. Don't be scared to spend money on your stars. Right, for your auction draft. I think you need spend all the money you need for 3 stars, and then the rest of the money it doesn't matter, bro. Because all of a sudden you're gonna be winning players that are good players for $2. Everybody money gonna be gone, and you're gonna be winning those players because you saved the money. They're like, well, I thought this guy ran out of money early, because they're gonna laugh at you. They're gonna say, oh, all his money gone. I mean, you're gonna sit back for 15, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And then all of a sudden, you're going to be getting Jordan Love for $2. Or you're going to be getting, Matthew Stafford for $1. So you're going to have plenty of money to fill your team up. But you're going to have 3 guys that nobody else is going to have on your team. That's why I like auction drafts. Amon-Ra, Tyreek, and Bijan. Or however you want to do it. You can do Bijan, Breach, and Tyreek. However, man, whatever 3 stars that you would say, man, it's impossible to get on your team, you can get them on your team. Let me see. Tron, he says, great fantasy advice. Subscribe about 2 weeks ago, locked in. Thank you, bro. Yes, sir. Let me know around me about the Roadhouse Kincaid. Um, Gabe Barker says, don't sleep on Jameson Williams this year. I'm not. I'm not. That's what he's been on plenty of my sleeper videos. Gabe says, great late pickup for flex or backup, could transition to the wide receiver too. Right. Big play guy. Country Machine said he like Dalton Kincaid. Charlene says, I'm falling in love with Shaheed. He's still on the waiver wire. Yes. Guys, I'm not trying to be funny. I think Rashid Shaheed, listen, he's not a better route runner than Chris Olave. But I think Rashid Shaheed, to me, if I was building a football team, I would want Rashid Shaheed on my football team before Chris Olave. Now, listen, if I just had to have Chris Olave come in as a slot wide receiver, yes, I think Chris Olave could be the best slot wide receiver in the game, and he could be killing it, making all pros. But if you want him to be like, oh, I'm on the outside and I'm like Jamar Chase, he's not Jamar Chase. He's not Justin Jefferson. He's not Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's not Puka Nacua. He's not none of those guys. But he could be a high-end slot guy, big-time player guy, like slot guy, though. Move around, get open. Not no alpha number one, highest paid wide receiver in the game. And that's why I think Rashid Shaheed is not that, but I think he's closer to that bill than Chris Olave is. I think they do two different things. And so I don't want to build my team around a Chris Olave, even in fantasy football. I would rather build a speed demon team around Rashid Shaheed. That's the way I like football, whatever, but it's all how you like your food, right? Or whatever, however you want to say that. Yes, and then Chris says Shaheed with kickoff return also. Yep, so does Gabe Barker say that. Gabe says, I'm enjoying the stream, man. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Harambe says Dalton is a character from the Roadhouse. Oh, see, man, I don't even know, man. I haven't watched that, bro. I still gotta watch the fantasy football show that y'all told me about. I still haven't watched that show yet. Name Dalton, right? It's a movie. Okay, got you. Charlene says no contest, Josh Allen. I think it's a I'm going with CJ Stroud. I'm definitely picking CJ Stroud over Josh Allen. Not saying Josh Allen gonna suck. I just think CJ Stroud gonna be throwing for a lot of more touchdowns. I think James Cook is going to take from Josh Allen value this year. I think James Cook gonna get a lot of work. Now he ain't gonna get 100% of the work, but I believe he will touch the ball at least 15 times every single game this year, and that could be 10 rushing and 5 catches. It could be 15 rushing and 4 or 5 catches. It could be go up to 20, just depending on what they need him for. This is going to be a tough team. This is not going to be a high-value passing team. I don't think Josh Allen, he might run for a lot of touchdowns this year. I would say no. I say that will go to James Cook and maybe the Gore guy, the young rookie. Maybe Kincaid has 10 or 12 receiving touchdowns, but I don't think Josh Allen is going to have elite numbers. I think Josh Allen is going to have a great NFL productive season, kind of like a Lamar Jackson did last year, where this team is going to be good. And they're going to say, Josh Allen is not turning the ball over. He's having a good season. He doesn't have the passing numbers, but he's more efficient. He's getting the ball out quick. He's not taking sacks. That's why I'm not going for drafting Josh Allen over CJ. Now, I believe CJ Stroud's going to have more sacks because CJ Stroud's going to be trying to push the ball downfield to Stephon Diggs, Nico, Tank Dale. Joe Mixon, I don't think it's going to be the guy that they're going to build this team around. I think this is a CJ Stroud high-volume pass and touchdown type team. Kenny says, be nice until it's time to not be nice. Right. Right. Chris says, Jameson nice. I'm rooting for him to come back. Crazy how they drafted him injured. Right. Harambe says, hell yeah, you guys laughing my ass off. Roadhouse is great. TD, you need to see it. Okay. Line from the movie Roadhouse. Rashid says Rashid Shaheed or Polk. I'm going Rashid Shaheed over Polk. Charlene says, hit the like button and tell the friend about this channel. Thank you, Charlene. Yes, do that, guys. Now, I know a lot of you want me to be your secret weapon, and I don't mind being that. I tell y'all to share, but if you don't want to share, I understand that. That's not going to hurt. But what I do need is make the comment. If I help you out with something and it hits and it makes sense, just give me a comment. I also appreciate the 100 symbol too. So just always comment, try to share the content if you want to. But what really helps out is when y'all guys become members that watch the shows all the time. When you come at least $1 member or whatever, it helps the show. Also, guys, I got listening leagues. They come and I'm actually gonna be setting up a league, one of the best ball redraft leagues with no IDP tomorrow. And also, guys, this year I'm gonna be inviting some guys up, but you're gonna have to be on the Phenom. I'm not gonna be inviting anybody up. Now, I do invite my certain guys who do content with, like Arambi, and some of my other guys like CHB and Matt Galloway. I do content with those guys. But as a regular subscriber, you want to come up, you want to talk about anything that you want to talk about, you're gonna have to be a Phenom member, and that's $20 to sign up for that membership. But just to be in the order of everything else, getting everything that I'm bringing to the table, all you gotta do is pay $1. Most of the perks you can get, not all of them, but most of them. All right, let's see here. Chris says, I think the Raiders defense is going to be fire, and I think the Raiders will make the playoffs. That is a prediction that I will say. Yes, I believe that, Chris. Zach says, should I try trading a first and a third for Tyreek? Yes, we talked about that. Matthew Stafford wins Super Bowl MVP next year. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Zach. Charlene says, I think best ball is confusing redrafters. Look at your format first. Fact. Right. Right. But I think some things can be unilateral. I think drafting in best ball, you can still draft the same format. Usually I do. Maybe I might take more rookies in best ball at the end. But I'm still taking a lot of running backs at the end of my draft, guys who can come in trying to find that sleeper. And I'm doing that in redraft too. Best ball and redraft. Zach Seaman says both first rounders 2025 and 2026 you think. Yes, I would do that with your team. I think you got a team to do. You don't need that first round pick. You got young players. You know, if you got to readjust, then you can always trade a Tyreek again, or you can trade one of the guys and get something back if your team needs it. Other than that, bro, go get solidify that. And Tyreek gonna play for a while, bro. He want to get that. It's too much money out there. It's too much money out there. And only thing you need to hope for is he stays healthy. That's the main thing. Gabe says CJ Stroud is my quarterback one. Me too. Me too. My homeboy here, Fantasy Football Rose, says Olave is debatable with Puka. Right. Let's go through some more. Josh Allen winning the poll right now. Yes, he's killing the poll. Gabe says Njoku has always been sneaky good. Right. He always been good. He just needed to develop and the right situation for him getting in targets. But he can be special, man. He's special as long as he stays healthy. Gabe says, I have Njoku as my tight end too. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I guess he's talking about as his backup. So he got a really good elite tight end, and he got Njoku. So he's going to be good at tight end spot. I think that's what he's saying, Ro. Gabe says, yeah, my dynasty league is, 2 starting tight ends. Okay. Shawty says, give me Ferguson all day long. I like Ferguson for the Cowboys. Dak Prescott hyper targets his tight end always. Gabe says Ferguson ain't bad. Gabe says, I think Schultz and Stover combo make them lethal this year. Hey, man, you keep talking about Stover, man. I'm definitely looking to try to get Stover. I'm trying to trade for him in dynasty leagues. Should have offered 2021. Okay. Gabe says he just opens up the field up so nicely. Right. Facts. Facts at fantasy. There's another best ball league. No, that's not another best ball league. Yeah, it's gonna be another best ball league, but it's gonna be redraft, and it's gonna be no IDP, and it's gonna be free. That's what happens. The rest of the leagues, bro, the Dynasty League, I'm charging because that's a special league. That's, guys, if nobody comes in, I'm not going to start it. I'm not going to bring in guys unless they are a member of the channel. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to downtrot my league just to get people to come in. But the best ball league is going to be free. So if you are a member of the channel, you can come in and I'm going to provide the prize. I'm going to pay for the prize on that one, on those leagues. Now, depending on your tier is depending on what type of prize you get. If you are a Phenom tier, you're going to probably get a nice $100 to $200 prize if you win the league. If you are on a dollar tier, you probably might be a $10 gift card to Subway or something like that, right? Or maybe a signed helmet or something, right? A small signed helmet. Maybe I might give even a jersey away if you are a Phenom member, right? It just depends on what tier you own. But you get to come in those leagues and then it's going to be free. The rest of the best ball leagues, I'm going to be doing many as I can. And they all going to be free for everybody. But you got to be members. And you can get in multiple of these leagues. You don't have to be, it ain't like you need to get in one and you can't get in another one. So if I do 5 and you in all 5, that's good. But you got to stay on as a member. If you get off as a member, I'm going to remind you. And if you try to get on at the end as a member, you won't get your prize. And I will tell you that. I will send you a message and say, listen, bro, either you got to pay me this of what it took to stay on as a member. So if you say you are a Phenom member and then you downgrade in the middle season to like a dollar tier, that's the type of money you're going to win or whatever prize you're going to win. So you got to stay on that tier all year and you will be able to get your money back and you're going to be getting other perks too. You can get discounts. I might even give out a free consultation here and there to a Phenom member. It's a lot of stuff that I got coming, guys. I just want y'all to know that. We need 3 more people, Zach. We need 3 more people for the Best Ball IDP Dynasty League. It's a Dynasty League. So people going to have to stay in this one. It's gonna be going from year to year, and I'm not gonna be doing a lot of them. I might do one maybe each year, maybe. I might not do one, but the best ball leagues that's gonna be free, they're gonna come every year for my members. You got to be a member of the channel. I'm not doing it for anybody. Now, if you want to super chat a $20 to keep you, I would say I might let you stay on as a dollar tier member, and you want to just super chat like $20 and get in one of the leagues, I might allow somebody to do that. I might do a couple spots for that. Charlene says if the Texans defense gets better, the offense doesn't have to play catch up. I don't think it's going to matter if they have to play catch up. This is going to be a CJ Stroud team. So even if they are killing you, they still going to score 40 points because C.J. Stroud going to be passing that ball. They're not going to say, well, we up by 10 points. Let's run the ball to Joe Mixon. No, C.J. Stroud still going to be doing play action and pushing the ball downfield. This team is trying to score 40 on you. They got a great coach. So I'm not really worried about their defense. C.J. Stroud is not a game manager. So they always going to be trying to push the ball downfield and let him score. Now, after he win a Super Bowl or 2 and he's won a couple MVPs, yeah, it's different at that point in time. You know, Pat Mahomes, early in his career, they didn't care how much they was up. Pat Mahomes was going to be throwing that ball. They didn't care if they was up by 40 or up by 3 or down by 40. That's what C.J. Stroud is going to be for early in his career. They want to show everybody we made the right pick. He's special. In my opinion, Charlene. I could be wrong. Gabe says they building something special. Yeah, right. Charlene says, I'm monitoring A.T. Perry. Yes, A.T. Perry is really, he's a big, tall guy. Maybe he could take the Michael Thomas role, but I think that's going to be, no target's going to be going to other places. I think Rashid Shaheed's going to get a 10% uptick in targets. I think Alvin Kamara is going to be there the whole year, so that's going to take away targets from A.T. Perry. I think A.T. Perry just going to be a guy to here and there to get a jump ball here and there. Zach says, we need some more people to join up. That league is awesome, man. Right. Guys, sign up. Sign up. Please do. $25 to get into the league. Sign up, but you got to become a member of the channel. All right, guys. Well, it looks like I'm ready to get out of here. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I will be doing a video while I'm at work tomorrow. So it's going to be a video in the car. If I got room on my phone, guys, to put all the little pictures and stuff in there, it takes a lot of volume up on my phone. So that's why I don't do those videos while I'm at in my car. But yes, I will be doing a video, and I'll try to come home and do another live. I don't know what it's going to be on yet. It just depends on what's in the algorithm, what I think y'all need according to what's going on in camp. But it's a lot of videos that I want to get out about some running backs, some tight ends, pause, a lot of videos like that. So y'all have a great day. I appreciate everybody being here. Peace.